And a little later, we'll be joined by Mbulelo, Mayikana, who's author of Female Submission in a Relationship and founder of Contemporary Conversations. We'll also be joined by Makabelo, Motaung, who's a dating and social coach. They are also part of the show, which, just by the way, you're starting to become, okay?
Oh, I can see. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for the upgrade.
Welcome. Oh, well done to you. You're doing great. You're doing amazing.
Like Beyonce to Jay-Z.
Then we'll do it again. Do it again. I like it. All right. So we're talking about something. Wait, so you're getting me all excited. And come back.
Oh, sorry.
Come
Focus.
back.
Focus.
Yeah. Arrête show.
Okay.
Yeah. Arrête show. Mokwele, let's talk about submission.
Yeah.
And I asked you here to talk about submission because it's a chapter in your book.
It is.
Okay. It says you can demand it, but you sure can. You can't demand it, but you sure can inspire submission.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big thing, that.
It is.
Now, a lot of times, people miss what submission is. They think it is their right. They think it is forced. It is, it's something that you have, because you're a man and you get into a relationship, it is your right. And there's nothing else that should happen. You don't need to do anything. She doesn't need, it just happens. You walk into a relationship and somebody must just bow down.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No.
Can never be it.
Can never be it. Submission is not independent of other universal laws.
Yeah?
You give, you get what you give.
Right.
So, hence, in the chapter says submission is inspired. It can never be demanded. So, I like using examples to answer such complex issues, right?
Yeah.
I make an example about Tabang.
In the book.
In the book.
Yes, because people are going to ask who Tabang is.
Yeah.
Tabang is a person that you wrote about.
Yeah.
Fictional.
Yeah, fictional person.
Yeah.
But of course, I wrote Tabang because I'm trying to celebrate my late cousin.
Right.
All right?
Tabi.
So, Tabang happens to be in this situation, and he calls me as a friend and says, "Hey, ke birthday ya Medi."
Yeah.
And in the birthday ya Medi, I gave her money to go spoil herself.
Yeah.
And I called him to order. I said, what
lazy stuff there.
That's lazy. What? It's like buying a voucher.
Oh my gosh, exactly what my mind is saying. Yeah, that's a voucher.
Yeah, it's like buying a voucher on her birthday.
And a voucher is just an everyday.
Your partner is you are one, so you need to know and plan ahead for this thing. It's important,
right. And they have the same birthday every year.
Yes,
so you can't say you didn't know.
And it speaks to attention.
That's right.
Right, love is
attention.
Active.
Yeah,
is attention.
Yeah.
So he says this, and then obviously I call him out. I said, no, you can't do that. And after the exchange, then he's inspired then to say, okay, Mkapi,
let me do more. Yeah.
Let me do more. So what must I do? So we go to the mall and he picks the beautiful things that he knows she likes, right? And then obviously, are nicely packaged and wrapped to represent a birthday. And right there and there says, oh, she loves this beautiful restaurant. Let me book there. And then books. And I said, add a bouquet of flowers to make up.
Let's also put it out there. This is actually something that happened to you.
It happened, yes.
Yes.
So put a bouquet of flowers there so that when you get there, there's also an element of surprise.
Right.
And this happens.
Yes.
Right? Fast forward the next day. I didn't want to call him to ask him how it went because I wanted it to sink in, and obviously I didn't want to, step my, overstep. Yeah. And then he calls me the following day with pleasant shock. He says, dude, I just walked in. She's there waiting for me to walk in, which never happens.
Yes.
I'll actually get a word from upstairs saying, if you're hungry, the food is in the microwave. Yeah. This day, she's there waiting for him. Guess what? Are you hungry? He says, yes, I am. She stands up to go, warm up the food, brings it up on a tray, and sits him down, and there serves him the food. This has never happened before. Right? And he is pleasantly shocked. He enjoys this. And guess what she does? How was your day? She's now interested. She's giving back attention. Remember I said it is not independent of any universal laws. You get what you give.
Yeah.
So he's now paying him attention.
Now,
and in him so doing, he then realizes this is exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know how to put it in words.
Yeah.
So she felt loved.
And therefore she was able to give love.
She was able to give submission.
To be submissive.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
so
maybe
she inspired it.
He inspired it.
He inspired it. Yes.
But let's take it a step back. Where did we go wrong in terms of submission? Where is it the narrative that is sent out? The man, mawindota, uzwakala endlini, a man must be this, must be that. A woman must be submissive. Munna kiselep. It's all that nonsense that is told.
We can talk about this until we turn blue.
Of course.
And that's why I wrote the book, so that we can quickly correct it, without going back to culturalization and all of that. Because your household's peace. If there's one thing you must always protect in your household, right? Is peace.
Yeah.
Protect that. So I'm saying the word submission has been abused as a controlling measure to subdue, simply to discourage a woman from having an opinion, especially an opposing one, right? A word used interchangeably with what? Obedience.
Mm-hmm. So it almost forces her to become a child.
Yeah.
She is not a partner. She is now a child in this relationship.
Yes. So therefore she must take instructions, obey to what? To please the man.
Yeah. And submission and obedience are two totally different things. Separate things.
Okay, let's go to the good book then.
Let's go to the good book when we come back.
All right.
You keep that. Just hold on to that. When we come back, just after a quick one, we'll go to the good book, but remember, you can call us as well. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear what you think of submission. How is it used against women? Okay. And how is it that men are now understand? As a man, are you sitting down thinking you are understanding what submission is and how to inspire it in your woman? Remember, again, we're quickly going to have a FIFA World Cup crossing, but that'll be just after the ads.
Life, Love and All, every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
Checker 6060 delivers the widest range of groceries to your door in 60 minutes. Family Sundays, meat-free Mondays, let's go 6060. Easy cleaning, all you're needing, let's go 6060. Pantry fillers, pet food and dinners, let's go 6060. We'll always bring more to your front door, let's go 6060. Link your extra savings card to your 6060 account and get the deals delivered. Let's go 6060.
Hey buddy, it's me, your car. Wow, we've been through a lot over the years, eh? Many roads, many towns, so many memories. But listen, it's time to move on, eh? Go and get yourself a fresh new ride. But just promise me one thing. Let me go the right way. Let me go to We Buy Cars. We Buy Cars, the best way to sell your car by far.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! Hit it!
Life, Love and All, 2022 highlights.
All right, Mpigeleni, how are you?
Ooh, she's Mapaseka.
How Mpigeleni?
Welcome. Ooh,
Thank you.
I was so happy. Last week when these things, when they changed,
yes.
I went to the wall,
Yes.
I saw the lineup here, Radio 2000, you'll be on the air again after a long time. Ooh, I'm so happy, Mapaseka.
Thank you so much, Mpigeleni. I really appreciate that. And Mpigeleni, it's lovely to know that there's people who are rooting for me and saying, let's go, let's do this, and you can do this.
I adore you. I don't know whether.
Hey, Marakiro, what's about Ratana Juan? How Ratana? How wrong?
We're going to get love from
this.
You.
Is it. I love you too. Tammy Dish, hello. Tammy, we are being listened to nationally.
I am so glad you're back on radio and you're back
doing the things you must do, talking about conversations that matter, and addressing everything in every household, in every space around to enable us as humans to diversify on a daily basis.
Lovely.
We're here for you.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much. That's Tammy Tish, founder of the Tammy Tish Foundation and also the Feather Awards. Eh?
Life, love, and all. 2022 highlights.
All right, it's 23 after 7 right here on Radio 2000. Crossing to Brian Mufokeng, talking about the FIFA World Cup. Brian, how you doing?
Hey, good evening, ma'am, and good evening to Ntate as well. It's actually good to have the two of you together in one studio.
In one studio, hey.
As soon as I heard you were coming through, King Lady Beke Kapaka when I work from downstairs, not from next to you, because hey, I get what matata.
King, are we tapping now?
No. I didn't know. I hear people are calling Barba Morata.
Hey.
So. Mutla ro morata be ke re rata second hour ya show wa bua dilo tse di be matata, so rather let me just be away.
Right, Nitle. Yeah, we're thinking, okay. Anyway, moving to the FIFA World Cup, Brian. How about Brian? Spain and 4-0.
It is very good. I mean, it's a good start for them if you look at where they're performing. The first half, 3-0, it was the scoreline.
Sure.
And then Ferran Torres scored his second goal of the FIFA World Cup for 2022. But a good thing, I mean, if you look at this in comparison to last year, 2018, when they played in the World Cup, they were not themselves. And the fact that they've made so many changes to the squad, and Luis Enrique has come up and said, you know what, I need to start putting in the Spanish way of playing football. That's why they're looking so good. And just to tell you the story of the day, when it all started, it was a goal that was scored first in the 11th minute, and it was scored by Dani Olmo right after the ball was played into the penalty area, and it came from a left corner, and he was standing right inside penalty. The goalkeeper approaching, he just lobbed him to make it 1-0. And Marco Asensio, who was actually denied a chance about 10 minutes before that, managed to find the back of the net. This time it was Jordi Alba supply from the left-hand side of the field, and Jordi was at it again 8 minutes later. He got fouled in a penalty area, drawing a penalty, and therefore that was taken and converted by Ferran Torres to make it 3-0 to Spain. That was at the end of the first half for today's match. In the second half, and then Costa Rica realized we're losing the game. Let's make some changes. In came Kendall Watson, replacing Carlos Martinez. And then immediately after that, Spain realized, let's just take the tempo even more. Marco Asensio went forward, and he just missed the goal by an inch. But then there was also a free kick awarded to Spain just outside the penalty area. That reflected in the deflected ball for a corner kick, whooped in beautifully so, and collected by Ferran Torres. Once again, inside the 6-yard box to slot the ball into the back of the net. So you have seen now 65 minutes of football played. Make it 66 now. And Spain are leading here by a total of 4-0. Now, the record books, Mapaseka, will tell you that Spain, in the first half, are leading as far as number of goals scored by a national team at a World Cup. They are continuing the La Rocha way of doing things.
Right, it sounds like exciting stuff. This World Cup, Brian, has had a lot of shockers already. So it's been rather interesting. Eh?
I would assume, because Mugule likes players that play very good. Maybe he's a Messi fan, eh?
You're a Messi fan. Mugule is not a Messi fan.
Or is he a Ronaldo fan?
Mugule?
No,
the guy behind you. Of course,
Bona, those two are the legends, and you can't choose one over the other.
Okay. No, that's more like a politician.
He's such a politician at times.
No. Now I'm waiting for them to play against each other. That's all I'm waiting for.
You know what the interesting headline yesterday?
What was that?
Where it said, hey, Messi made some mess.
Hey.
Argentina lost.
Messi. And it sounds like Messi lost, not Argentina. No?
Yeah.
It sounds like Messi's the one who lost, not Argentina.
Because remember, it's pinned on him.
Yes.
This is his final World Cup ever. So he wants to win it, obviously.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much, Brian. We'll see you again soon, yeah?
Good.
All right, we'll chat soon. Now, remember, Kizaka is coming back to SABC too, and we're looking for the best stokvels and burial societies. Investment and savings stokvels, burial societies, grocery stokvels, travel groups, and other stokvels who want more value. Kizaka will connect you with the right people with credible information to make the best decisions about your money. WhatsApp 081-596-1065, or you can email admin@tyvisionmedia.co.za. Kizaka, proudly brought to you by SABC Education. SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Rhythm at Dawn with Mapaseka Mokwele brings you a new movement, the Union Dance with Fang the Rhythm.
I just want to see you again. The smell of you.
Every Friday at 5:30 on Radio 2000. Our music, your memories. Let's talk on Life, Love and All with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060 584 2250.
All right, it's 28 after 7 right here on Radio 2000. We are talking life, love and all, looking at submission. What is submission? How do you get somebody to submit? Is it forced? Is it inspired? What do you do and how do you do it? We are talking to Thabo. It's so weird. It's so
Did
weird.
you just get a shock for just saying
Yeah,
that?
I was like, we're talking to Thabo and I'm like, yo, who's that?
No.
I must just explain, actually. I told somebody, I said to someone, I said to Ino and Dudu, I said to them, Thabo is the guy that you listen to on the radio, my husband, Thabo.
Yeah.
So what do I call you?
Ah,
Now that we're here.
remember.
That's
right.
How le mmereko ngu Thabo?
Remember.
All right, so we're talking to Thabo Mokwele, and we're talking about submission. He wrote a book called Pause. Are you making the right choices?
Oh, yeah.
He wrote the book called Pause.
Yeah.
Yes. I've got a few lines that I put in there, but it's fine. We'll leave it for now.
Via in community of property.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Page 114.
Yep.
Submission is inspired.
Yep.
You wanted to go to the good book.
Yeah.
Before we took a break.
Yes.
Let's do that.
I always say sometimes I think we interpret things quickly or in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
I like how it is positioned. It says, husband, love your wife.
Woman,
Wife,
respect your
respect your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't start with respect and then you will receive love.
Yes.
So in other words,
Give love first.
Give love first.
And then you will receive the respect.
Kima shalampil.
Shalawe.
Kima.
Gwen.
Right?
It's the man.
It's the man who shalas, right? Who then declares the love to invoke what?
What? Love? More
Love from her.
And respect.
And respect. And then how will he see that she loves him? Right? In the act of respect.
Okay.
Do you know that submission is a sign or is embedded in respect?
Of course. Yes.
You will never be submissive if you don't respect.
Otherwise, you're just being obedient.
Yes. Thank you.
Otherwise, you're just being obedient. You're
Thank
listening
you.
to rules.
Yes.
You're being told you must be here at 4 o'clock and you're here at 4 o'clock.
So what's the
because if I'm
difference
not here-
between you and an abused person?
Or you and a little child.
That's right.
Who cannot make decisions.
That's right.
Because again, the obedience makes the assumption that you cannot, you are not of sound mind.
Thank you very much.
So you cannot make the decisions that you actually
So
need to
it's
be making.
very important to emphasize this. And can I read it from the book? Because
Go
I
for
think I think the words say it better. Submission can only happen where there is love, security, and freedom in the relationship.
Right.
When the environment is conducive, the act of submission has no choice but to be inspired. What am I talking about when I say security? Are you secure?
In your relationship, in your space, in who you are.
Physically, emotionally, mentally. Do you have the freedom to be? And freedom goes back, by the way, to your child rights, which is another chapter. You have birthrights as a child.
Right.
Am I worthy?
Of love.
Am I worthy? Do you see me?
That seeing me is powerful.
Do you see me?
That seeing me is powerful.
Yeah.
Because
do I matter?
I will not matter if you don't see me.
That's right.
That's important.
And am I worthy to be heard? Am I also worthy to be me? That's number 5.
To be real.
To be me. Can I be me?
Be comfortable.
Can I be Mapaseka married to Thabo and I love traveling, he doesn't? Can I go see the world by myself?
And he should be okay.
Can you trust me with that?
And it's okay.
That's the freedom I'm talking about.
Okay.
So when she comes back, right? And she's just seen the world. She has done the things that really inspire.
And she's excited.
Who she is, right? Yeah. She comes back, and I'm coming back from work, and I call her, "Are you home, baby?" Says, "Hey, you get to get lala." She has no other response but to say, "Obatla ho jai."
Go with it.
Or I want right now. Papa Kama is perfect. Okay, done.
How fitla?
How far are you? 15 minutes away. How fitla? Kids, warm, waiting for you. And funny enough, she's waiting there to do what? To serve you.
To make sure that you get it.
You get full before the food.
Because you're happy.
Because of
your heart,
service.
Your heart is full.
Thank you. Why? Why are you reaping those benefits? Because you have inspired those benefits.
Here's a part that something that you wrote here that for me speaks volumes. You say submission is not a position of weakness.
No.
It is a position of strength. You can't be of service without great sacrifice. And you say, like love, submission is voluntary and it can never be forced. Chesa. I think that's the game.
Mara zati ke discount ya lobola.
Mara awa emapel ke tsa leno ko bolella. Discount jay. I teach you these things and then you want a discount anyway. Moving right along.
You know, a teacher never says, "I taught you this."
Yeah, mara metse ha we pasa tshwantse ho hopola. Okay, a re tswele pele. Position of weakness. You know, there's always an assumption. I get it. And this is again taking it to it's your rule. You have to do it. When somebody is submissive, it's not because they have to. They actually don't have to. They choose to.
Yeah.
And this is what you're saying here.
Yes.
They still hold the power and the strength.
Yes.
That's important, Mokwele. That's big.
I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe when he was talking about what happened in the Garden of Eden.
Right.
And he was talking to women, talking about purpose.
Right.
He said, the fact that you came second doesn't necessarily mean you are beneath or you are less. You are very strong. Because sometimes we think coming second is coming second.
Yeah.
Therefore,
you are not the winner, therefore.
You are not the winner, therefore. No. You are side by side. Right?
You're partners.
The one who's able to yield, right? The one who's able to yield, that's the strong one. Why? Because they are wise enough to know that this is not worthy of the peace in our relationship. In the midst of a fight, no matter how right you think you are, right? But instead of advancing that argument, you realize that, but right now, the price of being right is way too high than the peace in this relationship.
There's actually the price of being right.
That's right.
Right?
And that's the strength I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's not a weakness. To yield is not a weakness.
Sometimes you may think you are losing something, but there's nothing as horrible as winning just the small little war, but losing the battle.
Yeah. I always say, okay, fine. You always win, right? Who always wants to be wrong?
No one. No one wants to be wrong.
No one. So do you want to be with a loser?
No.
Thank you. So stop insisting on being right.
And that person becomes a loser. Because if I'm right, it means you're the loser.
That's right.
There has to be loser.
And soon the relationship is in danger. Why? Because you're with a loser. Subconsciously, you are with a loser.
Sure.
I agree when you always win. You're always right.
I don't know. Yeah, no. No, right. How bad is as long as anyway, we've got Thapelo on the line, and I think Thapelo also wants to talk to submission. Let's hear what Thapelo's got. Thapelo, hi. Hi, Thapelo.
Hi, the Mokwele family. How are you guys?
We are lovely. How are you?
You know, guys, I'm so loving the topic that you guys are talking about. And I just want to highlight a few things that Thabo said, and I just want to add on it. I would like all the men to make it a habit of studying Ephesians chapter 5. Because that chapter is one of those chapters in the Bible that is actually made for us men. And a lot of bullies and a lot of people who misunderstand the Bible will want to use that chapter in a wrong way. For example, you take what Pichi was said. There can never be submission if there's no love. And there can never be love if there's no respect. Those things, they go hand in hand. So when we take verse 28 on chapter 5, it says, in the same way, husbands should love their wives as they love their bodies. And a man who loves his wife loves like he loves himself. And then you go to 33, it says, nevertheless, each one of you must love his wife as he does himself. On the other hand, the wife should have deep respect for her husband.
Which
but
one came
first?
There's
never going to be a way where my wife is going to have this deep respect for me if I do not love her the way I love myself.
And loving her.
So loving her as I love myself means that I will never want to hurt her.
Yes.
I will always take her opinions. They matter as mine matter.
She matters.
And if she feels like her opinion is valued and what she says is more important, believe me, there will never be a time when she will feel like she has to fight or always bang heads with you. So those things, they go hand in hand. And all we need to do as men to get the respect, to get the submission that we are expecting, we need to love our wives as we love ourselves. Because that love will in turn force our wives. Or actually, not even, I don't like using the word force. It will actually in turn make our wives feel like they are obliged to be submissive.
It will inspire them to be submissive.
They feel like their opinions are valued. I would like to say, this was one of the advice that I got when I got married for the second time. That remember that your wife, she actually runs the household. And by that, it means that every decision that I want to take, no matter how big or how small it is, I must always run it by her first. Because whatever she will think and say will also have an impact on how my decision is being taken. That means I value who she is and what she says.
And you value her role in your space.
That's what, to me, my submission is, according to me and according to what the Bible.
Thapelo. We learn it, Thapelo. Thank you so much.
Amen, Mapaseka.
Thank you so much, Thapelo and Harrismith. Definitely appreciating what you're saying there. We're going to take another quick break. Time flies when you're having fun, I tell you. It's already 20 to 8, hey? So let's take a quick break. Lwandile, I see you holding on there. We will have a chat with you again just quickly. And then at 10 to 8, we will have a quick chat again with Brian. Okay, Brian Mofokeng talking about the FIFA World Cup. For now, though, just a quick break and we're back.
Life, Love and All, every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
South Africa's biggest supermarket brings you the hottest deals of the year. It's Black Friday at ShopRite. For 4 days only, save up to 50% on deals like 2 500-gram bricks of Rama Original for 40 Rand, 2 kilograms Omo hand washing powder for only 50 Rand, 750 grams Re-Coffee instant coffee, just 75 Rand. Any Shield roll-on, only 16 Rand. And a 1600 watts Essentials steam iron, just 99 Rand. Don't miss 4 days of Black Friday this Thursday to Sunday, only at ShopRite.
You're not ordinary, so why should your wedding be? Are you a unique and unconventional couple planning to get married in your own unique and bold way between now and December of 2022? If this sounds like you, then Married Our Way is looking for you. Be a part of our new and exciting wedding show and share your big day with the rest of South Africa on SABC2, where you belong. WhatsApp 060-834-2930.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! Hit it!
Life, Love and All 2022 highlights.
Very good evening to you. My name is Brian Mofokeng. Coming up in a bit, it is Maschaba. Today is Thursday, by the way. Mapaseka, Mapaseka. I lost my glasses, sorry.
We help the nation Monday to Thursday.
That is from that part. The Maschaba part comes from that part, not from your name.
Listen, we'll let it slide. It's okay. But I can tell you what's happening on the show.
What's happening tonight? Yeah.
In the second hour, are you orgasming?
You see, that is where the Maschaba comes in.
Yes.
I look forward to the Thursday because I know.
The Thursday second hour, your favorite.
No, the first hour. No, the first hour.
Talking the psyche of a cheating man. What is your expectation when you cheat as a man? We've got some voice notes that I want us to go straight to.
Good evening, Mapaseka. Us as men, we cheat because it's our home. It's no longer war. Now, mama, the way
I'm hearing lots of excuses. Balambile amadota, umfazi akasagqoki the way bekagqoka ngakhona, akasafani. Guys, these are just excuses. This is what I'm hearing.
Life, love, and all. 2022 highlights. Let's talk on Life, Love, and All with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479.
All right, it's about 17 to go to 8 o'clock. Remember, coming up at 8 o'clock, we have the news. We have a crossing just now at 10-2 with Brian Mofokeng. We're talking about the Soccer World Cup. Spain is playing with Costa Rica, and they are showing them flames. So we'll be, they are showing them serious flames. But we'll hear all about it from Brian at 10-2. For now, though, I've got Mr. Mokwele in the studio, and we're talking about submission. So what we actually decided, because by popular demand. By popular demand, we were asked to, because the topics that you have here are most of the topics that we talk about on the show. Yeah. So when we've got something that we're talking about that is actually relevant to what you wrote about, we'll bring you into the studio so that we can have a chat about it. And this is why we're doing this today, talking about submission. It's exactly what you have in your book here. And talking about, the fact that it is not understood. We have an interesting letter coming up at 8 o'clock, and we'll talk about it just after 8 o'clock. It also just talks to submission. And it's shocking. When I read it, I was like, okay. Yeah. But we'll talk about it at 8 o'clock. For now, though, let's go straight to Lwandile, who's been holding for a while. Lwandile in Durban, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Great, thank you. What's up?
I'm listening to you guys, the show. It's quite interesting that today you talk about submission, which I believe it is something that has actually hurt my marriage. As I sent a voice note last week speaking about the way how my marriage has been, where I have found where we're very in love with my wife, and the way we fell in love, things were fine. But as we went on and things started falling apart due to us maybe not being able to understand each other or being able to listen to each other and hear each other out. So it actually came to a point where one was not ready to submit to the other, if I may put it that way. So it actually came to a point where we got to separate. We actually got separated for 6 years. For 6 years we were apart. And at some point I realized maybe I was wrong, maybe she was wrong, but let's try again. But as I said now, there's still a problem. There's still a problem of not listening to each other or maybe not wanting to hear each other. So I don't know how we can be helped, how this can be, we can be assisted in this. So that's why I'm actually called in today.
Okay, so you actually want help how to fix your relationship, but do you think the problem was you're not very clear in terms of...
it's a bit broad because I don't think it's really in particular to submission. It may actually need a much deeper intervention to really get into the cracks, because even if you say it's submission, we might just be dealing with the symptom and not necessarily the root of the issue. So I think maybe it's one of those that maybe the show can take and sidebar on and deal with it as a letter on some other day.
I think let's actually do that, because we are specifically talking about submission today. But we'll send you back to Ndosh, because I think it's an important one that we need to talk about as well. So please do not feel that we are not taking your call. But rather, I'd rather we give it the necessary attention so that we can actually deal with it properly. So let's hand it back to Ndosh so that she can then take over and we do that. As we continue, Mokwele, there's an understanding of, remember it's 2022 now. Things have changed. Times have changed. Women work.
Yep.
In fact, they can bring the bacon just as well as men can.
Thank you.
Right? How does that change what submission should look like in a relationship?
Oh, no, it doesn't. Remember, we all play different roles, aren't we?
Yes.
And as I'm saying, the one who yields is the strong one.
Okay.
In this case, the man.
Okay.
From what you just painted. She's emancipated. She's the CEO. She's the MD. And she needs to pull in more hours.
Yeah.
And while she does that, someone in that relationship needs to yield to take care of home.
Of the home, yes.
And in this case, it's him. He says...
Ganja.
No. But you see, we must also talk from the positive, not from the negative. I think we're perpetuating a certain stereotype and narrative. And also we are still advancing patriarchy. Okay? So he says, baby, you do what you need to do. I'll take care of home. If it means I must cook from a Lazy Makoti recipe book for our kids to eat, I'll do that.
I'll do that, yeah.
Right? I'll bath the kids. I'll learn how. You just do what you need, because the last thing I want is for you to come home sacrificing your ambitions of being a better manager, and then in the very same pillow talk, right? I'm dealing with an unhappy wife. Why? Because one aspect that she finds very important, which goes back to the point I was talking about, are you free?
To be you.
To be you. The strength in this case will be the man. Because remember, this is the very same man who needs to face his family. And says, no, me, hands on dad.
I'm there.
I'm there.
I drop them off at school. I do homework.
I pick them up.
Yeah.
Well, when she's busy conquering the world, she can't help but be inspired. Remember, it's inspiration.
That's right.
When I love you well, you have no choice but to be inspired to love me back.
Gosh, getting very personal here, but I'm reminded of a speech at our anniversary.
Yeah.
Where at some point I actually said to you, I love how you love me.
There you go.
You love me well. Now,
but I had to learn.
You had to. That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
To say people think that it's an automatic thing.
No.
There's an assumption that when you get married, it's hi, girl meets boy. We fall in love. You get married, and then just as you fall in love, then you learn how to love the next person.
Love is hard work, because, and that's the thing about it. And that's what we spoke about, I think, last week. Life is full of dots.
Sure. Life is full of dots.
Should you be...
And you choose which dots to
Should you be...
You focus?
Intoxicated with a clean sheet. Then don't do this thing called love.
Yeah.
Because every little dot on that clean sheet, right? It's there for a reason.
And it's important.
So when you make those mistakes, are you learning from them?
You need to learn from them. Those are important. In fact, the mistakes are more important than the right things that you do.
That's right.
You learn from those mistakes. Straight to Brian. Oh, Brian right in the middle, I tell you. Brian.
You know what, Mapaseka? Let's do this. Because you guys are right in the middle of a very good conversation.
Yeah.
I keep about to family. Now I'm a guy who just loves
busy.
No,
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's what he meant. That's what he meant.
All right. No, it's cool. The score is 6-0 now, but there's 8 minutes time added on. So I think what you need to do then, I can allow you guys to really...
It's 6.
I almost said something. Let me say
it, Brian. Say it. Let me hear you.
I can't know when they say, Marco Keregentin, but Armona, Amrutabu, but
Hamrutabua.
When I guess your family, only muto olorongota magalutile one, but go what, Papa? I'm not
go deeper, Papa.
I think we'll chat just around 3 minutes or so to 9, because then to 8. Because the game will be coming to an end then. So let me allow you guys to indulge further.
To wrap this one up. But it's already 6-0 to Spain. My gosh, they are whipping them. They're giving them a very hectic and very serious whipping. Thank you very much there, Brian Mofokeng. He'll be back again in just a few minutes to wrap up that game for us. For now, we go straight to the voice notes. Let's hear what our listeners have.
Bathong, I am so happy. Oh, Bathong, I was spasile. I would do boss. I studio. I'm that biggest fan. Oh my God. Diwali kamu, kamu ka Durban, Bonang, Luna, Lady role model, Zaka. Masarelo, I can't bua ka buka, but yo, I'm so happy.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. The love is just incredible.
Yeah, no, it is. Thank you.
And it's really appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
We are now number 4.
Number 4
of the best-selling book in exclusive books. Thank you for the support.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah. Number 1, here we come.
Yeah, we are going there.
Here we come. Here we come.
Do you remember what I said to you? You remember I said to you, it was number 11.
It was number 11.
When I said to you
last week. Yeah.
Yes, when I said to you, no. It's okay. We are going for that number 1.
Let's go for number 1.
We're doing well. We're doing amazing. Proud of you. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, doing great.
Thank you, baby.
All right. Back another voice note.
Dumelang Mapaseka Mokwele. Ke di natural mo Africa. Well, for me, submission, it's used now to oppress women. And most of the time, it's by men who are broken, who don't really understand the word submission from this woman. I mean, what is it that I need to submit to if you don't give me the reason to submit? Because you need to make sure that I submit to what you actually see that you deserve. You cannot say that I should submit where else you are oppressing me, you're not giving me attention, you don't love me correctly. Then you want me to submit. Because I'm not happy, I will not submit effortlessly.
I know. Rounded it up very nicely.
Very nicely. Can I round up with a thought?
Just before we round up with a thought, hold on to that.
Okay.
We've got another voice note.
Sure.
Yo, dumelang the Mokweles. Submission, okay. Submission. Okay, nice motamosadi. I never thought one day I would be willingly submitting to a man until I met him. He doesn't demand submission. He doesn't command submission. It happens so naturally to a point whereby sometimes is this possible? Because Ronar confuse feminist submission. No, as a feminist you can't do what you can only do what. But let me tell you, if you find the right man who leads with love, doesn't force anything, submission will happen. And it will happen to a point whereby you do it without even anyone saying anything. And not because of anything, because thank you.
That's amazing.
Love that.
That's beautiful. Again, before your thought. One last voice note.
Good evening, the Mokweles level mo Pretoria. Na I think ra le tlhoka lona re na le bothata ba GBV and lona le na le solution. So ntse le a public show mo TV le khono motivate batho because ke lona solution. Thank you.
You know, I always say, and somebody else has said this to me before, I don't like a solution, and I say we are not a solution, but we are learning.
Yes, yeah.
And we continue to learn. I think the only difference is that we are open to the learning.
Of
right?
course, you must be.
You must be open to the learning. Your thought?
Yeah, but before we make it like it's only one directional. Because right now, there's a guy who's sitting there saying, are you therefore saying I must just always make the first move? You know, once you agree that you're going to do the love thing together, you must also agree that this is going to be a team sport.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because submission is when two people themselves submit to the mission of their love, and they make their love bigger than them.
Oh, say it again. Are you recording that? Okay, say it again.
Submission is when two people submit to a mission that is bigger than themselves.
Yes.
In this case,
yes,
the relationship.
The relationship, yeah.
So, if they are to get somewhere, they should know that there is the strength to yield to each other's needs.
Both ways.
Attention, right? And also yield, right? Position on certain issues.
Explain.
Meaning, even if you are right, but that you being right is too much of a price for the stability and the peace right now.
Not necessary.
Not necessary.
Pull back.
Pull back.
And you don't die.
Why? Because the mission is bigger
than you. So true. So true. Asanda Smanga saying this is a mindset of a man who knows he is and is secure in his masculinity. Ndade Mokwele, the willingness to learn comes from a healthy mind.
Oh, yeah.
This is what they're saying to you. It's not just a comment.
Oh,
this is what they're saying to you.
Thank you.
Straight to Brian. Let's hear what we've got. Brian, let's go to what's happening. How did the match end? Skamplelo, there's another 2 goals after that.
It's possible.
Brian, are you with us? All right, I don't think Brian is with us. Is he there?
Nope.
All right, Brian is not there, but looking from what the game looks like, what's the score now? The score now is it was 6-0 the last time I checked. So we'll hear what Brian says. We will cross to him again just after the news. For now, though, it's news time. Roseanne Greff coming through, giving us the news. And remember, when we come back, we continue with the theme of submission. But this time, we are talking about the letter that we've received. Mokwele is staying, so don't you worry about that. He'll still be here. Mokwele is staying. We'll be adding 2 more people. Makabelo will be joining us, and also Mbulelo will be joining us. And this is exciting stuff. So we look forward to chatting to all 3.
Life, love, and all every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. If you missed it, catch the rewind on radio2000.co.za.
SABC News. Independent and impartial.
Top stories. Auditor General reports irregularities in government departments and increased wine exports to the UK in the pipeline. Good evening. The Auditor General, Takani Maluleke, says 36 irregularities in the financial management of national and provincial government departments resulted in the officials responsible for the losses undergoing disciplinary processes. She says 15 fraud and criminal investigations have been instituted, while 5 supplier contracts have been stopped. Maluleke reported that her office had identified 179 irregularities. She says most of the irregular findings were caused by non-compliance and suspected fraud, which resulted in financial losses of up to 12 billion rand.
In a number of instances where the SIUs completed their investigation, they've come back with recommendations which indicate who should be disciplined, and that's happened. They've also come back with recommendations on recovery of money, and that has happened. So those gains are already underway.
The National Student Financial Aid Scheme says it has introduced an online application portal for use by students when applying for financial assistance. NSFAS says one of the objectives of the app is to reduce the volume of application inquiries at its call centres and other platforms. Chief Executive Officer Andile Nongogo.
The portal that is an application portal is not just a portal that is for applications, but this is a system that enables us to fully, properly administer the student funding. So in essence, this would be the NSFAS learner management system, if I can call it that, or student management system.
The Western Cape Department of Mobility says it will not be able to fund the further extension of its Blue Dot Taxi Incentive Program. The program, which was launched in 2021, was initially only supposed to run for 9 months. However, it was extended to run for a total of 17 months. Taxi operators in the province embarked on a strike for 2 days in response to the department's decision to end the program at the end of this month. 2 buses were set alight in Khayelitsha on Monday, while another was recovered after it was hijacked in the area. It's unclear at this stage if the attacks on the buses are related to the taxi strike. And President Cyril Ramaphosa says South Africa could soon see an increase in its wine exports to the UK. He was addressing the SA Business Forum during his state visit to Britain, where he also met with King Charles as well as with the newly appointed Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Ramaphosa assured the UK business community that South Africa was working on challenges that impede conducting business, including load shedding.
We put forward some of our very keen proposals. And one of them is to increase the quota of wine exports from South Africa to the UK. And we want that to double. And we did say to the Prime Minister that does not cost the British government anything. In fact, what it does do is for South Africa to bring joy.
Recapping the top story, the Auditor General, Thakani Maluleke, says 36 irregularities in the financial management of national and provincial government departments resulted in the officials responsible for the losses undergoing disciplinary processes. More news at 9.
SABC News. Independent and impartial. Radio 2000 presents the 23rd Joy of Jazz Festival,
happening on Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th of November
at the Sandton Convention Centre.
Catch the Royal Playground with King David on Friday the 25th, 12 to 3 p.m.
Then Classic Society with Paul Mnisi, 7 to 10 p.m.
And then Saturday, 26th, catch
the Radio 2000 Saturday Night Show with Lelo Mzakra,
6 to 9 p.m.
All live from the Joy of Jazz Festival.
Radio 2000 proudly hosts the Mbira stage, featuring artists such as Gloria Bosman,
Selilo Solota,
Jimmy Dludlu,
Samajobe,
Jazeel Brothers,
Tandiswa Zwai,
Msaki, and many others at the Sandton Convention Centre.
Visit radio2000.co.za or our social media pages for more.
See you there.
Radio 2000, our music, your memories. Are you looking for specific details from an interview on Radio 2000? If you happen to tune in at the tail end of an interview, or if you'd like to hear a specific interview again, worry not. Just go to www.radio2000.co.za. Click on the show where you heard the interview, and there you will find all the podcasts you might have missed on that particular show. Stay in the know on www.radio2000.co.za. Radio 2000, our music, your memories.
Life, love and all every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
All right, so it is 5 minutes after 8. Thank you to the news team. They're back again at 9 o'clock and at 10 o'clock as they wrap up the day's happenings. For now, though, we go straight to Brian Mofokeng talking about the FIFA World Cup taking place in Qatar. Spain was playing Costa Rica. How did that match end, Brian?
Very much, Mapaseka. The final score, Spain has won this match by 7-0. The last time you were here, it was 5-0. It went 6 and it went 7. And that's how they ended that particular game. It is their biggest winning margin in an opening game of a FIFA World Cup. The last time they managed to score at least more than 2 goals in an opening match, you got to go back to the year of 2006 when they won by 4-0 against Ukraine. Alonso, Villa, as well as Torres were in a goal scoring on that day. Then they went on to win 3-1 the next game, 1-0. But then since then, they lost the opening game against Switzerland in 2010 before eventually becoming champions. Then in 2014, as the champions, they lost the opening game, only Alonso scoring a goal, lost their second game. So they haven't won an opening game in a FIFA World Cup since that particular when they won by 4-0. That was in 2006. All the other opening matches, they lost 2, they drew 1. But they've sent a stern warning to all the pretenders to the crown they won in 2010 in South Africa. Because their next game, they got Germany, who lost by 2-1. The 4 times champions Germany is their next game. Spain here, the party started as early as the 11th minute. That's when they scored their first goal. And then from the first goal they scored, which was scored by... the goal was scored by Dani Olmo. And then they scored their second goal in the 21st minute, which was Marco Asensio. Their third goal was a penalty. Ferran Torres scoring his first goal off. The second one came in on the 54th minute for him to make it 4-0 at the stage to Spain. But they never stopped there. They continued probing and looking for more goals. And that's when the story and the party continued as they finally win this encounter by 7-0. Their biggest win against Costa Rica previously was in 2017, where they won by 5-0. They've gone 2 better, and that's how they wrapped it up. So Spain are on top of their group, followed by Japan. We have Germany, and right at the bottom is Costa Rica. That's how we wrap it up. The Mokweles can take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! Hit it!
Life, love, and all. 2022 highlights. Radio 2000 wishing Mapaseka Mokwele a happy birthday. Life, love, and all.
Happy birthday, mommy.
Hope you're having an absolutely amazing day filled with all the love and joy and peace and, of course, all the dancing. Let's trek through this one and through all the other ones that are coming. Love you so much, mommy. Mwah.
Hey, mommy. Happy birthday. I love you lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. Lots and lots and lots and lots. Lots and lots and lots. May we continue to tell each other the spice, the tea, and laugh until our brains fall out, and jive until the neighbors actually end up complaining about us.
Yes.
It's bound to happen at some point. Love you lots, mommy. Mwah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday, mommy.
Radio 2000 wishing Mapaseka Mokwele a happy birthday. Life, love, and all. Life, love, and all. 2022 highlights.
All right.
The letter on Life, Love, and All with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
It's 9. It's just gone 9 minutes after 8. I know it's highlights. I know we were talking about my birthday. It sounded like it's my birthday today. Everybody in the studio stopped and looked at me again. No, guys, it's not my birthday.
Yeah.
Those are highlights of what's happened. And because we're coming to the end of the year, we are putting together highlights of what's been happening throughout the year. So you'll be hearing lots more about the special moments that have taken place right here on Life, Love, and All. For now, though, straight to the letter. Ooh, guys, I read this letter, ne? And I must be honest, I almost lost me. I almost lost myself. Yeah. Anyway, I'll read the letter and then I'll introduce everybody that's in the studio. Maybe let me introduce everybody that's in the studio with me first. Mokwele is still here.
Hey.
Thank you. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Makabelo Motaung, dating and relationship coach. Thank you. Finally, you in the studio.
Finally.
Damn, man.
Not in my PJs.
Jeez, so glad to have you in the studio. Mbulelo Mayikana, founder of Contemporary Conversations and author, and he also wrote a book on submission called Female Submission in a Relationship. Yeah?
Yep.
Right. Here's the letter, guys. Dear Mapaseka, I've been engaged with my girlfriend for the past 3 years. We've been together for 5. I can't bring myself to going ahead with the marriage because of her actions and lack thereof. The same qualities I fell in love with, of a woman who is outspoken, independent, and loving, are the same qualities that have come to put a strain in our relationship. My fiancé absolutely refuses to be the woman of the house. We both work, and when I arrive home, I will find no food, and she cooks twice in 7 days. She does not even attempt to touch the pots on weekends. When she finds me home, she expects me to make arrangements for food and complains when I don't. She expects me to close the curtains and tidy up when I'm alone at home. I have told her that no man is meant to be closing curtains. When my family and friends visit, she asks me to bring takeaways with. She never cleans. She does not iron my clothes and expects I'll help her to do everything. I have informed her that once we are married, she will have to attend my church and we leave hers. This she refused, and she says we can each pray in our separate ways. We have a 2-year-old daughter together. What is she going to teach our child? I need a woman who can show true submission with a willingness to be led, and not one who wants to be the decision maker instead of being the neck supporting the head. I no longer want to marry her. I work so hard to make sure she has everything she wants. Do you believe there is hope that she could change? This is a letter that we received, guys. God, I need to put it out there. There is a person who is thinking like this. And they put pen to paper, sent us this letter.
Yep.
Sure.
It's an interesting letter.
I'm not sure if it's interesting, guys. I don't know if interesting is the right word I would use for it. Makabelo, as a woman, let me start with you.
I was afraid you were going to start with me.
I want to start with you because, and I'll tell you why. Once the guys say, no, this guy, the woman must be submissive, you and I are both going to jump and kill them.
Yeah.
So maybe let's paint it properly.
Gently, right?
Let's hear what your thoughts are on this one.
I mean, okay, I'm noting a lot of things as I usually do. They've been together for 5 years, right? I'm noting the tone of the letter as well. I informed her she will no longer be going to church. I didn't discuss this with her.
Yes.
She doesn't want to be the woman of the house. I no longer want to marry her. So already it tells me this guy's not even looking for advice. He knows what he wants.
Yeah.
And this is not the woman for him. From those words, from that tone alone, right?
So okay, yeah, go on.
It sounds like he's demanding this submission. Back to Ndate Mokwele's point earlier when he said you don't demand submission. You know, you are not entitled to it by virtue of being a man.
You know,
and
wake up and then
exactly. I mean, he's mentioning things that are very petty.
Guys, he says
no
he won't
man closes curtains.
He says he won't close curtains.
I mean,
well.
What is the big deal? No man should be subjected to closing curtains. You know?
What's the biggest mistake I think we make with or in relationships is not to give one context of who we are, where we come from, what inspired us to be who we are as adults. 1, 2, we don't even give vision of what we would like to see. And hear the other person, what their upbringing is and what the context is. Because her context could easily be, I'm not used to that. Imagine a girl raised by a single mom.
I had that as a question. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just paint pictures. She knows in that house, everyone who wants something must stand and make it for themselves, right? 2, here is a man who now comes from, say, a nuclear family, right? And he has seen his father sitting on a couch, that one armchair thing, reading his paper, watching TV after a long day. And he will be asked, sir, can you please move so as I can close the curtains? That becomes his model. But
what radio is? Of what, not radio, of what life is.
Of what life is. That's what his outlook, because he's looking at his mother doing what he does. And she has this different perspective of what a household is run. But those conversations are never fused as part of the dating talk. To say, by the way, na ke hotse so. This is the environment I come from.
But hold on. Let's come back. Let's pull it back just a tad bit. Man here is demanding. Right? So there's demands here. I've been engaged with her and he says they both work. But when she comes home, if she finds me at home, she asks me if I've made the food. What is she supposed to, just for my understanding, what do you think, Mbulelo, she's actually supposed to do? Is she supposed to come in and he must ask her? Is this what he's implying?
I think we need to go back a bit, Mapaseka. I know your question. I'll come to your question. I think, again, and sometimes you normally say we're flexing when we mention certain things. There's a book that I wrote about authenticity in relationships.
Right.
The one thing that sometimes happens, which is in line with what Mr. Mokwele has mentioned, is that during the dating period, we're never authentic in terms of who we are and what we want in terms of the relationship. And therefore, sometimes we wear this mask that this is who I am.
Yeah.
And sometimes this mask remains and becomes entrenched over time. However, the mask falls off in terms of who you are and the real person comes out. The reality is we can have all the flowery language in terms of relationships and all the stuff. We never enter into relationships for someone else. We enter into relationships for your needs. Personal needs.
Yes.
In fact, I dare to say our selfish interests in terms of a relationship. Relationships are not.
It's not for the next person.
We don't get into a relationship and say, I'm getting into this relationship for her sake or for his sake.
Better.
No. We get into relationships for our own selfish interests. And unfortunately, during the dating period, especially I know with the men, because they know that if they become authentic, sometimes the door to sexual pleasure is going to be closed. So they wear the mask. And sometimes, therefore, they project personas that are not really who they are. Because probably these feelings that he has are feelings that he had even when they were dating. And however, he was wearing a mask and wasn't willing to show as to who he is.
So now when he married her,
yes,
he almost feels like he's got an upper
exactly
hand.
You know, you can pretend so much to be someone.
The real
the real you will come out in terms of who you are. And I think this is what has happened, and this is where, for instance, most relationships actually get in trouble, where, for instance, we've been wearing masks throughout from when we were dating.
It's been a marketing pitch.
Exactly.
What I always call a marketing pitch in relationships.
Exactly. Most men, let me not generalize, most men will wear a mask until the door to sexual pleasure has been opened. And after a few years or few months, then the mask will then fall off. When it falls off, you then see the person. And unfortunately, if during the dating period you had all this dopamine love and you were not that authentic in terms of your conversations, like Ntate Mokwele has mentioned, to say, this is what I want from the relationship, because we said it's a transactional matter. This is what I want from the relationship. This is what you want from the relationship. Let's get to understand that and get to be authentic. And unfortunately, you cannot have a situation wherein you can have submission unless, again, there has been authenticity in terms of the dating period and we have been through to each other in terms of what we want from the relationship. If we haven't done that, forget it. We are going to fight. And that's what is happening with this gentleman.
There's an important point that he mentions here, that I think he had the right mindset to an extent, but lost the plot in how he presented it. He says, I have informed her that once we are married, she will have to attend my church and leave hers.
No, I applaud him for being naked, because it's his nakedness that is actually giving us the real window into how he thinks
and who he is.
So, adding to what Mbulelo was saying, we also enter relationships on aesthetics. And when the software, right, comes out of who and what drives this model that I am attracted to, we get this shock. And then what do? We want to change the software. So we drive relationships wanting to change people instead of accepting who they are. Now, you are in a relationship for 5 years. Your language hasn't changed. It is still I instead of we. Have you realized the minute we read the same letter as we, in her presence, she's now going to start seeing her role. I'll give you an simple example. When we come home, she still expects we to close the curtains. She still expects we to go buy the food. Why? Because the coffers of that household belongs to who? To both of them. The peace, the warmth of that household belongs to who? To both of them. He needs to first change
his language
and start seeing two instead of one.
Okay. I want us to take a quick break. When we come back, that church thing, I still want to go back to it. And there's a reason why I'm harping on that. But we'll do that when we get back.
The Letter on Life, Love and All with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
South Africa's biggest supermarket brings you the hottest deals of the year. It's Black Friday at ShopRite. For 4 days only, save up to 50% on deals like 4 410-gram tins of cool baked beans for just 40 Rand. 750 grams Recoffee instant coffee, only 75 Rand. Stewing or Boitgikos beef for just 89 Rand per kilo. 2 500 ml Stay Soft refills for only 45 Rand. And an Essentials twin spiral hot plate, just 199 Rand. Don't miss 4 days of Black Friday this Thursday to Sunday, only at ShopRite.
You're not ordinary, so why should your wedding be? Are you a unique and unconventional couple planning to get married in your own unique and bold way between now and December of 2022? If this sounds like you, then Married Our Way is looking for you. Be a part of our new and exciting wedding show and share your big day with the rest of South Africa on SABC2, where you belong. WhatsApp 060-834-2930.
Let's talk on life, love, and all with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060-584-2250.
All right, so we continue.
The letter on life, love, and all with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
We continue talking about the letter that we received. And I don't want to go too much into reading the letter itself, but it basically talks about a man who says, when I met her, she was like this, and I am demanding that she must do 1, 2, and 3, and I think I don't want to marry her. It sounds like it's a reward, doesn't it? You do the right thing and I'll marry you. It sounds like it's a trade-off in his books.
And that's why I ask is Makabelo. We also need to hear your voice here. But that's why Pause the book is so important, because then it helps to deal with those fundamental issues. You cannot demand it, but you can inspire it. So you see, now that's a different thing altogether. Altogether.
Yeah.
And you want to raise the issue about church. I have a quick response to you about that.
Yeah.
Because he says, when I marry you, therefore we must leave you leave your church and come to mine. I have a friend, a living example in Silas Makaleng. Silas Makaleng ke Musion. Zesitsi ke mfana kosha.
Yeah.
Musadi ke musadi ke wa seaparo sa wesel.
Yes.
Same God.
And they're living happily ever
And
after.
I asked him, so why Mama Kalenga said to come? No problem. I would rather have a happy wife.
Yeah.
Respecting the very same God I pray to.
And that's
what's more important?
That's exactly what I wanted us to get to. I wanted us to get to the point, Yahori. He is. There's always been the narrative that when you get into a marriage, you must change. And does it work for you?
Thank you.
Does it work for you?
But is it wrong to expect her to change with the title, with the new title?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I get it. She's moving from being
Miss whoever
to
Miss
being now.
To be
Yes,
being
is
Mrs.
the
Mugodi.
expectation wrong? Yeah, this is what I expect. I get a little high, you know, to say you must change your ways. You see, you can't do this and this. That's you changing. That's you being groomed to change, to position yourself to be Mema Mokwele.
I am saying, Makabelo, are we going to discuss it? Are you going to know my thoughts? Are you going to know why I still choose to be in my church? Or maybe I don't have a church and it doesn't excite me. And we can maybe decide together, let's find a church that actually works for both of us. Why can't we do that? So my point is, can we get to a point where we are discussing as a couple before we make decisions out of you must leave? No, so now it's not negotiable.
Yeah.
Now you must leave your church and come to my church and it ends there.
But his expectations go far beyond the church. I mean, you can see what he expects to be treated a certain way now that he's the husband. Now that Saupataleti Malobolo, which is a mentality that we see often, even in our letters, where people expect you to change because now, you know, is he wrong to expect that? Let's discuss that as well, you know?
Mbulelo, but I would say, and this is just my 2 cents worth, I would say the expectation is wrong if it is not, if you are not going to sit down and discuss it with your partner, you are not getting married to yourself. You are in a partnership. Therefore, we are going to discuss what works for us.
When you communicate, when you don't communicate an expectation and you get disappointed, you are the one to blame.
Problem. Yeah.
I think for me is even talking about church and everything after lobola has been paid. I think it's already late.
It's late.
It's already late.
It's late.
My thinking is, why didn't we have this discussion even prior to Amalobola in terms of how this thing is supposed to look like? According to me as a man that is going to be paying lobola, and according to you as a woman that is going to come and live with me and submitting to me, how is this thing how is it supposed to look like? So that we can be able to see as to whether perhaps, our thoughts gel in terms of what this marriage thing is going to look like. Because once you then do it after lobola, you can't blame the other person. Because both of you is supposed to have a conversation in terms of how this thing is supposed to look like. And this is why I said earlier on, the problem in relationships is the fact that we seldom authentic in terms of conversations that we have, because we're so scared of each other. We're scared that, for instance, the other person is going to take offense, is not going to be happy. And like I said, certain things, I'm going to be denied certain things. But you forget that these are the things that are going to come back and haunt you because you didn't talk about them. Because even the issue of the church from my side, I mean, if maybe they had a discussion, that would have been a red flag to say to him, okay, this is not the person that I want to get married to because she cannot come to my church, if really that's a deal breaker in terms of his view of life. Even though you and I, perhaps we can rationalize and say, but why would you worry about that? But if it is important to him, it is something that he was supposed to discuss right at the beginning, before all the lobola negotiations took place and all the other things.
So what usually happens is that there's an understanding, Yahore, when I marry you, I've now bought you, I've now paid for you. Now, Kalesam is Tatulamanj. So basically, you don't have a say because I have married you.
And I think that's
a wrong narrative.
I think those are the terminologies that we have since, I think, debunked, and we must never be stuck in a time zone as if we've never really debunked those. We know that lobola is not a payment.
And
we have clarified that, and if you still think like that, you need to update your software.
This then you get a letter like this, and you realize the software is outdated.
No. But that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that we need to refresh people about that. And two, when you get married in Baolaya, but no, you are now going to be married, they're not changing you, they're transitioning you. We need to change the language. It's a transition. And again, what on one basis are you marrying? What law or what foundation are you using? And if the foundation, for most of us being church, it says what? You both are going to leave your respective families to do what? To start your own island. And what that island does, it has a king and a queen who makes what? Their own decisions. Own mistakes, therefore yielding their own solutions, therefore starting a new tribe. So now you are going to cut and paste a model that comes from the 60s or wherever.
You don't know if it worked or not, actually.
Thank you very much. And
the narrative that you're seeing is what you are being made to see.
Let's talk about the current day challenges. The girl child is emancipated far ahead of the boy child. They are going to meet tomorrow to start a family. And is he going to come with the cut and paste Thabo Mokwele and Tatai?
He can't.
He can't do that.
He'll fail.
We're at the fatherhood conference, and the Muruti before that, he was praying for the conference to go well, and then he spoke about how men are vessels, right? And he brought this from the scripture, and we understood it. I then advanced it. I said, if he is a vessel, what holds a vessel? The vessel itself, be it made out of clay or glass or steel, protects, shapes what it holds, right? And what does it hold? Whatever liquid
is in there.
And what is that liquid? Her.
That would be her, yes.
So did you inspire her to fill that vessel and take your shape?
Or is she just sitting there because she's now stuck?
I think
and to the point,
Go ahead.
To the point of the letter, you can see the conditions of submission are not there. based on what you've spoken about. The conditions of submission are totally not there.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's no love in the letter.
Yeah.
There's no
love.
There's no love. So what is the point, really?
Yeah.
Because if there was love,
there is love. I think it's more frustration.
I think there was
love. There's a lot of frustration because of his outlook of life doesn't match what he has designed for his life. You know what I mean? We are a victim of our own choices as well. So he has chosen this, but he's trying to mold it his own way without communicating his expectations.
Yeah.
And communications.
Let me look at it from a different angle, in terms of, because I mean, he's not here for us to ask him questions in terms of, what inspired the letter and the gravity of the situation in terms of what he's experiencing. One of the things that I know in terms of relationships, we sometimes, there's something that he says there where he says, the very things that attracted me to her are things that I now despise.
Yes.
Now, we should never forget that in relationships, people evolve.
Yeah.
And they should.
And we
evolve.
should evolve. And in some instances, the things that attracted me to you are things that I might later despise and not like. But the challenge is, at the time that I evolve, or you evolve, do we have a conversation around that evolvement? And say, this is the situation now. Maybe I did like you, chewing your food with your mouth open. I don't like it now. Can you stop it? Is there a way, for instance, that you can stop it? And we have a conversation. And now, if, for instance, there isn't that conversation, obviously that's going to lead to trouble in terms of the relationship. Even with submission, one of the challenges that you'd have in terms of submission, in terms of relationships, is evolvement that would have happened in terms of the relationship. Because sometimes people evolve to directions that we actually are not happy about.
Sure.
And in some instances, you find that when they evolve, there isn't a conversation, a discussion that, listen, this is who I was 10 years ago, but this is who I am right now. Let's have a conversation, because at the end of the day, I know perhaps what attracted you to me might possibly not the same person be the same thing that I have right now, because my thoughts and view of life has changed. So we do need to have also that discussion. And later on, we need to talk about a possibility, because in some instances, we do get into relationships and we get along and we're able to sort of see eye to eye. But in some instances, we have a lot of narratives and rhetorics in terms of that, what is happening in terms of the society and people belonging to groups and friends and belonging to brigades, to such that in some instances some people get influence in terms of their thinking, such that when you deal with the person, you're no longer dealing with the person in front of you. We're dealing with the brigade.
Everybody else.
That the person belongs to.
Let's do this. I want us to take a few voice notes, and then we can hear if there's anything to answer. We'll do that. If not, there's also a question that's come through that I want us to answer.
Evening, guys, on Radio 2000. In my opinion, things are like this. You love to love a person which you are in love with. But now, if she doesn't submit, then you just lack in loving her, lack in doing everything. Because now maybe she is swearing you, shouting at you. She doesn't give you a chance, an opportunity to do things as a man of the house. So she do things like she wanna take over to everything. Then how are you gonna deal with that situation?
Sure, guys. I think we've spoken to this, and we'll come back. I just want us to go through more voice notes, just quickly.
Good evening, Mapaseka. It's my first time to send a voice note. I've started to listen to Radio 2000, I think 2 weeks back. Right, on to the topic here today. Sometimes I get with the relationshiping. I bui gore re bomang, re tswa kae, re ya kae, re godisitswe yang, wa ntlhaloge. I mean, clearly, that guy o godisitswe mo family e le gore ngwa bolela gore monna ha etse 1 2 3 mo go nang le di gender roles mo teng. So mosadi o correct gore ha tswa mmerekong tshwantse fitlhele dijo a tswa le di-curtain the same way mosadi wa tla etsang if this guy ga yo ile mosebetsing, she would cook, clean, a etse laundry and everything. So this gender role thing itlamile fele. Thank you ke Godfrey Mo Swizer.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Another one that
I'd like to remain anonymous, but for me, I don't find the roles, like specific roles, because what I believe in is love. And when it comes to the most important part of a man, which is like food, I really enjoy cooking. So even after from work, I come back and cook and spoil my woman. And she's very grateful for all of that. Found the house clean and everything else. The kids are good. So it's good for me. And then she has a way to thank me when we go to sleep at night. So it's really amazing.
Hey!
And I like cooking for her. And I like spoiling my woman. If she's sick or tired, I don't mind cleaning the house. I really don't mind. We're just happy. We focus on happiness rather than roles within a household.
Guys, there's a lot there, hey? He says, I mean,
why don't you play to your strengths?
And that's exactly what he's saying.
Why don't
He says,
you play to your
listen,
strengths?
I can do this. I don't mind cooking and I can do it. And when
Yeah.
she comes home, she's happy and I'm happy at night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
This
Very
is all
light, very easy.
Very easy. It's
Yeah,
a-
but have we spoken about that right at the beginning?
But also-
that's my challenge. That
but
if
al-
we don't, that's where trouble starts.
But also the biggest problem is, who are you? Do you know who you are when you get into that relationship? Because if you have no clue who you are when you get into that relationship, that's where the war is going to be.
Yeah.
Because now it's competition time.
Yeah.
It means when she comes home, you're like, you didn't do it, I didn't do it. You did. It's now not, you're not growing together. You're not
Yeah.
fixing. You're not fighting to fix. You're not growing
Yeah.
as a unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're now on opposite poles. We always talk about, Mokwele, we always talk about the boxing ring. And we always talk about how when you're fighting as a couple, you're fighting from the same corner. We spoke about this last week. We're talking from the same corner. We're fighting from the same corner. And the issue becomes the opponent. But when it comes to a situation like this, when you don't know who you are, the issue becomes your partner.
Yeah.
And your view is not correct. From what I'm seeing in the letter, his view is not the way he chooses to analyze the relationship and the woman.
Yeah.
Says a lot about him. And
maybe his
is
background.
it fair? Is it even correct the way he's analyzing the entire relationship? You know, I just find it wrong. I just find it offish. You know, like. Who's not interested in the relationship anymore.
I always say each to his own, right?
Yeah.
So I don't mind him thinking like that. He must find somebody who thinks like that too. He must just go out to find a woman who actually feels like, oh, when my husband does this, I must do. Not a woman who thinks for herself. Clearly, he's not looking for a partner. He's looking for a robot that he will tell, or jump there. He's looking for a child in the relationship, not a partner. And if that's the case, then that's okay. He must go find his robot.
I
and
have
then they can live
I have
happily
a
ever
simple
after.
exercise for them. Sorry to cut in. My simple exercise for them too is exactly that. Just change the tone of your language. Because we need to find him a solution. He's writing this because he's frustrated. Not that he doesn't love her anymore. Remember, even this decision that he's making is from a logical point of view, not necessarily from the heart. I'm deciding not to lobola anymore and. So let's start here.
Change your language.
Let's change the language.
But here's the thing.
Instead of I,
we.
Instead of I, us.
But hold on, Mukul. Just hold on. Just hold on, guys. Just hold on there. His last line says, do you believe that is hope that she could change?
Exactly my point.
Not we. She could change.
Yeah, but that's my point, that we need to give him solutions and tools. I'm saying to him, that's the first tool you use. And you'll see immediately. Authenticity, all of those things will be immediately on the table. And by the way, the one thing that we haven't learned as well, and this was never taught, is how to have uncomfortable conversations with your partner.
Yeah.
You wanna start an exercise? Talk about sex.
And talk about money.
And sex and money. If you don't put money there, let's talk about sex. Are you satisfied? No, I don't like how you kiss me. I don't like how you touch me. And see what happens to your ego right there as a man. Immediately, it evokes what? Your language, your love language. It says, and then he will then say, I feel like a man when I have made you do 1, 2, 3. And she says, no, I actually feel more like a woman when I have made you fall asleep after I've touched you. Now their love language comes out. Why? Because now they're having uncomfortable, difficult conversations. And that's what I'm saying. The two elephants in the room in any relationship, money, sex. But the quick one, start there. I think the door has been open.
But Keole religion is showing up in this.
But
I think, like you said, I think when we started the show, I was listening to you. That one of the things that we need to understand as men is that submission is earned. It's not something like you said. It's not something that you actually get because of your maleness. It is something that you earn. Because in most instances, it doesn't happen also even in terms of the animal world. The male is the one that approaches. It's seldom the female. I know today we can actually say different things and say how females do the approach. But nature dictates that males are the ones that approach. And in terms of approaching, therefore, you also need to be authentic in terms of who you are, so that she submits to the authentic person that you are, instead of the person that is wearing the mask.
She'll take a shape of your vessel.
Exactly. Because you see, the thing is, the things that he's written about there, I personally believe, I'm not sure whether it's because I'm old and therefore I've sort of lived life and therefore I have learned certain lessons. I don't know why he didn't have a discussion around those things, because now he's complaining about them. And I am not certain even now if he has even had a discussion with her around those issues that he has written about.
What if he's had that discussion?
I wonder how that discussion went.
That's
if
right.
Had the
quality of the discussion.
My worry is, how did the discussion go? Because it's not a discussion if you're going to come and say, you must do 1, 2, 3. You didn't do this. It's an attack.
But
you
also,
you didn't.
Why is it easier for other women to submit versus others? Like, what differentiates us as women?
Do you see my hand?
And you touched on it earlier, Hanyani. Childhood traumas also mold and shapes how easily it is for us to submit. I struggled with this a lot in my previous relationships, submission.
But the other thing is, it doesn't have to feel like submission. I'll be totally honest with you. I have always heard from other people what submission is in my household. It feels natural. Because
it doesn't feel like submission.
Because I don't feel like I'm doing a favor. It's not like I must now do you a favor to be submissive. Do you know what I mean? You love me, right? I respond right. And that response may look like submission. Guys, we've run out of time.
No,
it's quarter two. It's quarter two. The World Cup.
Round two.
We need to have round 2, guys. We're gonna have you back in the studio. We need to have round 2 at some point. Michael Abrahamson is taking over from Brian, and he'll be doing full commentary of the Belgium versus Canada game, and that's starting now at quarter 2. So we'll be crossing over to the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and then what they will be doing there is then just doing a pre-match thingy. And then from there taking over. So goodbye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We will be back. We'll have you all in the studio. We'll talk about, because there's a lot to talk about. When we come back, we'll talk about all of that.
All right.
Michael, how are you? Hello, Michael. Michael's not here. Do you think we should steal 2 minutes?
Wow, it's not enough.
Michael is not here, and I wanted to have a quick, and we can't just leave the show. So here's another comment that just came in. Michael's not here, so I'm just going to read the comment. Okay, it says, can we also touch on the fact that sometimes people compromise the things they want, the dreams and aspirations for marriage, and women do this all the time. Then later they want to pursue these things, their dreams and their aspirations, which in some marriages causes these conflicts. So I agree with Mbulelo that these things need to be discussed before amalobolo.
Stop having high school conversations.
Have
real conversations.
People talk about, hey, so how are you doing today?
What's your favorite color?
Hey, let's go watch the movie. And then we talk about the movie. Oh, actors wrong. Yo. That's it. But we don't have conversations that actually lift and grow us.
We know nothing about each other.
We actually don't know who the next person is.
I think this is why, she was asking me as to what influenced me to write the book.
Yes.
And I told her, no, I didn't just write one book. I wrote a series of books that talk to each other. Because that's really what needs to happen. You need to understand a lot of things for you to be able to understand the person that you're going to be in a relationship with.
And that's important.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. That also means Mokwele Book 2 is on its way.
The pressure. Oh my word! All I'm saying is, being with someone is a journey.
Yeah.
And you learn about each other, for each other every day. Underline that. You learn each other for each other
every day.
Every day. And but the premise, the foundation of that, do not in any way attempt to change the other. Learn and accept them.
Hey, hold on.
Learn and accept them.
Guys, that learning to accept a person and not trying to change them is a big thing.
Yeah.
In most relationships, people think submission is you doing what I want. They don't change who you are.
That's obedience.
Become who I am.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of control
Yeah.
and you forgetting who you are. But how do we teach this to our children? So, and I'll tell you why. Our children, for example, see what we show them. They see us smiling, they see us at home, and they don't know what happens behind closed doors, right? So the hard conversations, when we do have them, are behind closed doors. So we actually need to be having these conversations even with our kids. Only when she gets married do we say to her, Mamela. Now we're giving her a crash course.
Yeah.
But you must also have uncomfortable, tough, and difficult conversations with your kids.
It's so
because then they get used to the having tough conversations. It's not it may not necessarily be about love or relationships, but just tough conversations.
Just anything that's not
And we
easy.
submit to love, not fear. Hey?
That's obedience. To fear, it's obedience. To love is submission. All right, guys, they are here.
Okay.
They want to take over. Michael.
Hello, Mapaseka. Nice to chat to you. We don't really want to take over for that long. We're enjoying the conversation, but the bills need to be paid also from the side.
I tell you, the bills need to be paid, and the World Cup needs to go on, and we totally get it. Thank you so much for being part of this one, guys. Michael is now taking over. Michael Abrahamson with the Soccer World Cup, wrapping up the show and going over to the FIFA World Cup.
SABC Sport is the official broadcaster of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Sisonke, together for the greatest game.